Welcome, everyone. This is the Innovators Mindset. I have Heather Waibel here from Welnys. Heather, thanks for doing this.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So, with the COVID-19 and all the changes to our life, there's been issues and challenges almost on every corner. What have you seen from your perspective around this?
Yeah, and personal or professional or
Yeah, I don't know. Probably both. It feels like I'm talking to you from my guest room. Seems like personal and professional is all intertwined these days.
yeah. Yeah, I know personally I've had a really hard time working from home, and thank God I'm now back in my office, which is vacant, but that has helped. But yeah, professionally, it was challenging for our type of business in particular. We had a business that relied on people being together in close proximity, and so obviously that became an issue very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. And so, how did you see this coming, or what was the first signs? I mean, did a few of your classes start getting less full, or like how did you think this was going to come around? How did it appear?
Yeah, so what my business does is in-person health and wellness services for workplaces. So things like chair massage or yoga classes. And so really early on in the pandemic, I sort of could tell that this was going to have a huge impact on us, and immediately mobilized my team to come up with what we should do to mitigate this impact. And the obvious solution was something digital. So very quickly, we landed on the idea of what we call wellness TV, so video health and wellness product. And we immediately mobilized and started executing towards that. I would say it was like one of the quickest decisions we've ever made as a company and that I've ever personally made, because I tend to be the kind of person that really likes to weigh the pros and cons and like think about something first. But I like just instantly knew it was something that we had to do.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really been kind of interesting and a little scary to watch. Like all of the services, like massage and counseling and yoga and exercise, that sort of helped me and helped everyone stay fit, but also just stay like grounded and like de-stressed. All those disappeared, and simultaneously there was a lot more stress, anxiety, pressure, loneliness because of the pandemic. So you had this kind of dual thing where like a lot of the services you couldn't do anymore, and yet the need increased.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think our most popular video category that we have right now is around dealing with stress and anxiety. And we have a lot of content around that because people are really feeling that. I mean, there's a ton of stressors happening right now, not just from the pandemic. And it's difficult to be isolated from your friends and family during this time.
Right, right. So talk to me about the process of taking your business that was really in person and logistically complicated, but getting people on time and there and organized around a classroom or an in-person setting. What were the challenges of moving that digital?
Yeah. Well, for us, we have absolutely no experience in like video. We don't know how to shoot video or edit
You
video.
had to learn it all like on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely new type of product for us. And so, luckily it's, modern times and there are platforms for everything. So we were able to identify a platform that was sort of like Netflix in a box, which is great. So we didn't have to do any custom development and we could launch something very fast. So thank God for that.
And I've seen the branding. Obviously, it's really well done. Like it doesn't look like a cookie cutter thing. It's wellness TV and really a good experience. But you were able to build on other tools to make that happen. Right?
Yeah. Thanks to a lot of the no code kind of movement, there are lots of options for people to very quickly create these days.
Yeah.
And so we identified that tool, and then the problem was content. So how do we get enough videos on there to have a product? And luckily, because our previous business model was a marketplace, we already have 6,000 health and wellness vendors that we work with. So we just mobilized that network, reached out to them, and invited them to create content for us.
And they probably simultaneously wanted to get exposure on digital as well, I would think. I mean, their business driver.
their businesses were hurting, and so they were also looking for other sources of revenue, but they also had a ton more free time to film videos, so it was actually perfect timing in that sense. And within a couple of days we had over 100 content creators sign up, and we have a backlog of several hundred videos today.
Yeah. Excellent. And so talk to me about what was a big hurdle as you were gearing this up. I think we spoke earlier. It all got like created, launched in 30 days. Like it all like came together.
Mhm.
What was the biggest hurdle in that experience of getting it going?
Yeah, I think we underestimated both the amount of time editing was going to take and the quality that we would get. So we sent out a toolkit, and we had, basics like do this, don't do this. And it turns out like a lot of people just won't read the toolkit. And so they would film videos, on their phone vertically instead of horizontally.
Yeah.
So we couldn't use it. So there were lots of little issues like that where we'd have to like intervene and really handhold the content creators more than we thought
Yeah.
we would have to. And then
Because
video
they're
editing.
a really talented yoga instructor or a masseuse. They're not necessarily a content creator by training. Yeah.
Exactly. And even simple things like they would play music during the workout in the video, but the music is copyrighted. And because they put it
Yeah.
in the video, we can't get it out.
Right.
So lots of learning curves around things like that. And then I did all the editing, and I'm not a video editor.
Oh, really? So you personally, like at midnight, were doing the editing?
Yeah. So the first 50 videos I edited myself, and then I realized that wasn't going to be sustainable. So I hired some freelance film students who are taking over the editing from here on out. Thank God.
Good. Talk to me about the breakthrough moment. Like, was there a customer that got excited or a partner that got really rewarding experience? When did you know this was going to really work?
Yeah, so we gave all of our existing clients, free access to the platform for a certain amount of time to incentivize them to move on to this new product. And luckily, we closed our first large deal last week.
Congratulations.
Enterprise-size deal. Yeah, thank you. So we now have 2 enterprise-size clients on the platform that are paying, and we've only been live for a little over a month now. So that's a really good early signal.
Yeah, excellent. And tell me what the impact has been to the users, to the employees or the customers. Are you getting good feedback that they enjoy the classes?
Yeah, engagement that we've seen so far is actually really high on the platform, really high adoption and engagement. And what is interesting is what do they engage in? So as I mentioned, we see a lot of engagement in that stress and anxiety category, which is interesting. Also really high on nutrition. So as we have more data points, of course, we'll start being able to see some interesting trends there. But one of the really interesting ways we're using it is we are still doing the other part of our business as well, only we're typically doing it as a webinar. So we just had a client who did a webinar with us yesterday, and we were able to then send them a bundle of videos that we made free for their organization that complemented the live webinar that they did. So now we can support those employees even further by giving them access to tools even after their event is over.
Yeah.
And so these products are really symbiotic, which is nice.
Yeah, excellent. So that leads into where I wanted to go, which is as we start coming back to work and the economy opens up, hopefully there's not a second wave and we start to come back online. I would imagine that you will have now this hybrid business that, of course, it's hard to do massage maybe digitally. So there'll be some things that are best done in person, but there are other things that really are best done online, and then a hybrid of everything in the middle. Is that what you see?
Yeah, we absolutely think the in-person will come back. And today we can still do some of the in-person in that we're doing return to work services. So temperature taking, COVID testing, and antibody testing. So there will still always be a business on the in-person services. We just now also have a digital complement, which means it works well for companies that have naturally a higher remote employee population, or maybe they're a more global company. And before we could only serve in the US. And now we
or maybe they may have a corporate headquarters, but there are satellite groups that it doesn't make sense with a 4-person office to go do a big event there, but they can get plugged in on the digital side.
Yeah, exactly. So it just increases the types of companies we can serve.
Yeah, excellent. Well, if people want to learn more about Wellness TV, is there a website or how would they go about that?
Yes, so you can just go to wellnys.com, and that's spelled a little funny. It's WELNYS.com. And from there, you'll see a link directly to the TV page, and even individuals can sign up. We have individual subscriptions as well.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks for doing this. I'm really excited to try out some classes. I appreciate it, Heather. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you so much for having me.